Today we're going to review how to use quotations in your writing. I've been really impressed so far this year to see a lot of you already including quotations in your commentary, in your outsiders essays, and the reading responses you've been doing so far. From this point on, since you're learning now how to do it effectively and correctly, I will be looking for you to integrate your quotations just as reviewed in this assignment. So we'll do some practice today, and when we get back from our winter break, you will be given a reading rotation assignment that will ask you to include and document a quotation. In that assignment, you will be required to follow the steps throughout this video. Alright, so our favorite gray boxes. This gray box here on the worksheet tells you the three main things you have to do when including a quotation in your writing. First thing you need to do is make an assertion. An assertion is another word for an argument or a claim. It's an opinion statement that the author intends to support with evidence. The most common assertions we face every day are commercials. In every commercial, they are asserting that their product, or whatever it is that they're selling, is the best for one reason or another. Progressive car insurance might be asserting that their car insurance is going to offer you the best coverage for the least amount of money. Other insurance companies obviously make the same assertion. The most important part of your assertion then is to provide evidence. And if you can think of the paper towel type commercials where they will hold the paper towel and pour water in it, or use a paper towel to clean up a mess to prove how strong and sturdy the paper towel is, that is going to be an example of your evidence. So the first thing you'll do is make an assertion. This is your opinion statement. Obviously it will be something regarding the subject of the literature that you're reading. Next, you need to supply the evidence. Here you're going to do a lot of things, and what's most important is that you're doing all of this in one sentence. Supply the evidence. You're going to introduce the quotation by naming the speaker or narrator and explaining briefly the situation or context of the quotation. If the quotation is someone's dialogue, then you will say who was speaking. If it was the narrator, then you can simply identify that it was the narrator speaking. If you can remember back to the dialectical journals, we talked about context. Context here is what is happening in the book at this time of the quote. So you want to provide some context so that your reader knows what situation or what event from the book you're referring to. Then you're going to include your quote. Your quote can be a single word, a phrase, a line, or lines from a text. You can do a complete sentence, 2 sentences, 3, or just a part of a sentence. You never need to include the whole sentence if you only need part of it. And lastly, you'll document the quotation. The documentation goes into parentheses. Parentheses are these little things at the end of the sentence, and the number will go in the parentheses before the period. Please note that all you have to put inside there is the page number. You do not need to write the abbreviation PG or P or write out the word page. All you need is the number. The only time you would include the author's last name is if you're citing more than one book in your paragraph or in your essay. In our case today, and when we get back from break, you will only be citing one book, so all you will need is the page number. So again, I just want to say what's most important is that all this information is in the same sentence, and that's a lot. To introduce the speaker or narrator, give context, and the quote. Alright, that's a lot to put in a sentence, but you need to use your stylistic methods, your sentence combining skills, and get it all in there. The last thing you're going to do, and this is what will take up the majority of the paragraph, is comment on the quotation by writing several sentences, explain how the evidence supports the assertion. Now, I would like you to make a note. I don't think several is the best adjective there. Maybe 2, 3 at the most sentences explaining how the evidence supports the assertion. You want to explain, how does the quote prove your assertion? Whatever it was you were claiming at the beginning, how does this quote actually prove that? Make that connection for your reader. Okay, we're going to do some practice with an excerpt from The Scarlet Ibis. This is a short story by James R. Hurst. We won't be reading the entire short story, just some bits and pieces, and I will try to fill in the blanks with some things about the story that you might not know. Beginning with an ibis. An ibis is a bird, and scarlet indicates that the bird is a bright colored red. So go ahead and read the excerpt there. Take a minute. At this point, you should have finished reading the paragraph. If not, pause the video and continue reading. I want to point out that we have a sample character analysis dialectical journal, and we're going to refer to the student who made this journal our friend, because they are really helping us out with this information. We're going to use this today to do our exercises. They do a really nice job of finding quotations, giving the context, providing an inference, and commentary. And as we go through your exercises today, you'll be able to really steal their ideas as you practice writing the paragraph. Okay? In addition to getting this worksheet that goes in your writing folder, you should have gotten a yellow piece of paper that has a graphic organizer for a paragraph using quotations. Just leave this blank for now. Remember that I print papers on colored paper when it's something I think you may want to refer back to easily throughout the year. So that's something you can pull out anytime you're writing a paragraph or an essay that includes paragraphs that must use quotations. Here you can just see how our student friend, wrote an assertion, introduced a quotation, wrote commentary, and how these 3 things right here have sort of led to this paragraph. So, Doodle's sensitive and appreciative. They introduce the quote, when Doodle's brother takes him to a beautiful place in the woods. Here you can see the quote, and here's our documentation. And then, as you can see, the commentary is just 2 sentences. And then the paragraph is just all of that information. Fine. Alright, and now you're going to do some of that. Alright, on your own or with help with your group mates, let's do this practice. There's another passage here from The Scarlet Ibis and another dialectical journal from our student friend. We're going to use the information from the passage and the dialectical journal in order to complete the skeleton paragraph at the bottom of the page. Go ahead and pause the video a second to read the paragraph and take a quick look at the dialectical journal entry. At this point, you should have been able to read the paragraph and the journal entry. Something you may not have known about Doodle is that he obviously is younger than the narrator, but he also, and it indicates it in the commentary here, is physically handicapped. If I remember correctly, Doodle cannot walk, which is why he's being pulled in a cart and his brother must lift him out of the cart, and why he's clinging to the brother so frequently. And you can see our student friend made a nice connection about his fantasies and how particular they are to him because of his physical handicap. Now, what we'll do at the bottom, and this is super easy, is fill in the blanks. In James Hirsch's short story, The Scarlet Ibis, the narrator depicts the character of Doodle as, and here you write your assertion. Your assertion, you're going to steal this information from right here. Alright? He's imaginative and a dreamer. So write that in. Then Doodle and his brother often, and here you must provide the context. The context you can find right here in the journal entry. So rephrase that a little bit and fit that in. Here's where you can see how you're going to end up with a nice long sentence because we've given the context, we have our comma, and the narrator tells us that while he made up stories, they were nothing compared to Doodle's, whose stories were twice as crazy and filled with people who flew wherever they wanted to go. We need to put our page number in here, and we can get that from the dialectical journal also. And the last step is the commentary in these almost 4 lines at the bottom. And remember that you need to connect the quotes to the assertion. Explain, how do these quotes prove that Doodle was imaginative and a dreamer? You can look at the commentary in here for some ideas, but you probably don't have to. I think people flying wherever they want to go is plenty of evidence to show that Doodle is imaginative and a dreamer. When you're finished with this, move on to the next page. Okay, we're almost finished for today. The last thing you're going to do is the same type of thing, except this time we're going to analyze for tone or mood and focus on diction and imagery instead of characterization. Again, we have another passage here from The Scarlet Ibis. Sorry, to choose my pen there. So pause the video a second and take a minute to read the passage and glance at this very detailed dialectical journal we have from our friend again. Okay, at this point you should have read the paragraph and taken a look at the dialectical journal. Please note this time, if we scroll back up here, we're looking for diction and imagery. And our friend has done a really nice job of choosing words and phrases that show great diction, which remember is word choice, and imagery. We also have some examples of figurative language in the last two quotations. Okay? So again, we have a paragraph template, a skeleton that you must complete. This one is a little bit different. See if you can do this on your own. You're going to read the text that's already provided and look in the parentheses here to get a hint to see what you'll be adding. Context there, commentary here. Here you want to find another quotation. Alright, and always refer back to this dialectical journal. All of the information you need is in this journal. There is some more on the back. So some more commentary, and then there's the connection with the figurative language as well. Alright, good luck. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to help you out.